a smartwatch which can last on a single charge for an entire month, all thanks to the sun, an EV across 3 states, and one's love for street food. And can phones like this make Realme the #1 smartphone brand in the country? All this and a lot more on Tech Today. You know, a lot of you all write into me, and a lot of my friends ask me this question as well, saying, which smartwatch should I buy? And I don't always have an answer because it really depends on your needs. It's very subjective. Do you want an extension of your iPhone? Well, then there's only one answer. It has to be an Apple Watch. Decide which one is affordable and which one works for you with its features. Similarly, Samsung has a proposition as well. But what if you want to dissociate yourself from an ecosystem? You don't really care about cellular functionality and stuff like that, and you just want one rugged companion which lasts more than a fortnight on a single charge. Add to that maybe solar charging, and you have the Garmin Fenix 7 Solar, a watch which is here exclusively on Tech Today. And frankly, I'll tell you one line on this watch that sums it all up. It's the Swiss Army of fitness smartwatches. This is old school Garmin, very rugged, and a display which is better served outside in bright environments because that's where this watch is meant to be, and perhaps not the best when you are actually using it here indoors in the studio. That said, this watch is a little different from its predecessor because this is the first time that Garmin has included a touchscreen on its watch, and it's a great touchscreen, but that's not really what you want on a watch like this because these 4 or 5 buttons largely do the trick. In fact, whenever you start a workout on this watch, the touch on the watch gets disabled because imagine if you're out there kayaking or hiking or trekking somewhere in the mountains, you don't want your gloves or some random button touching this and then interfering with your metrics. Your metrics are a very important part of this watch. Now, we've taken this out for jogs, we've done our warm-up with this watch, we've also done a little bit of weight training as well because this watch can actually count your reps, and that's quite helpful. The reason solar charging piqued my interest is because this is not only innovation in the smartwatch space. Of course, this has been happening with analog watches for a while, but this actually extends the battery life for this watch or any smartwatch by a number of days. The Garmin engineers I was talking to actually told me that they left this watch on the windowsill during the summer month and it lasts for nearly 30 days that way. But the more you're outdoors on a sunny day, this actually absorbs that much more light, and then of course that sunlight is converted into electricity, which means this watch can last more than 20 days on a single charge. I'll tell you why that's a game changer, because if you're like me and you own an Apple Watch or a Galaxy Watch, they're great watches. They're actually fantastic companions. I have a cellular version, so I can take calls on this watch even if I leave my phone at home. Now that's a different sort of functionality and set of features which Garmin is not necessarily catering to, and they don't need to. This is more of a fitness coach and a health and fitness companion. One thing that was a little bit of a bummer that really didn't impress me, and it hasn't over the years with Garmin, is the charging connector. Now, obviously this is USB-A, but then this connector at the back seems really strange in 2022 when this is how you have to charge it throughout. So it's a little inconvenient, especially when you're going to sleep, as opposed to what the Apple Watch does. And I know I shouldn't be cribbing because you have to charge this maybe once every 15-20 days. That said, something you have to charge every day, it becomes so much easier on the Apple Watch connector, right? This is for fast charging, so it does quite a good job in an hour as well, but this is so much more convenient. They have so many docks that they've made as well. Well, I don't want to compare the two, obviously. They have very different use cases, but the Apple Watch does a fairly decent job if you want to take it out for a run, do a good weight training workout, for your ECG, heart rate tracking, stuff like that. And with third-party apps, it also tracks your sleep decently. But what if you take so much data in, because all of these are very well equipped with their sensors, what do you actually do with that data? How do you make the customer's life a lot easier? That's where I'm impressed with Garmin, because they take all that data and the analysis on the Garmin Connect app is second to none. A good way to analyze that is body battery. Now, what is body battery on this watch? If you open the Garmin Connect app, then you'll actually get a great analysis of what body battery does on Garmin watches. So let's just put this in perspective. Your heart rate is being tracked throughout for 24 hours. If you couple that with your sleep tracking abilities, and then to an AI system which actually tells you, hey, you know what? Before you lift that weight or before you go on that jog, you might not have enough fuel in the tank. So let's give it a rest. I think if there's even some sort of indicative metric for all of us who are health and fitness obsessed, I think that is fantastic, especially in times like the pandemic, where a lot of us sometimes exert ourselves without knowing what our internal health abilities and capabilities are like. This is truly a life-saving feature. Now, of course, this is great for running and it's an ideal running companion, and we tested it with our warm-ups, longer runs and stuff like that. But I like going to the gym. This actually counts your reps. If you're a noob and you're just figuring out how to work out, this has workouts in different formats like EMOM, every minute on the minute, or AMRAP, as many reps as possible, or Tabata 2010. Not only does it count right for you there, if you open the Garmin Connect app, it will also give you workouts and then show you videos on how you're actually supposed to perform those exercises with the right kind of form. This is heaven for fitness and tech enthusiasts because you can get as geeky as you want with all the features on this. All in all, they've innovated with solar charging. Touchscreen is a very useful addition. Fantastic build quality. Mind-boggling analysis in the Garmin Connect app. I am very impressed. But it's not all hunky-dory for this. The touchscreen is all right, but you got to use the buttons most of the time, and I understand why, for a functionality reason. But the bigger issue is the display. I wasn't very impressed because I'm often indoors and working out indoors, and the display, maybe I would really look forward to the Epix or the AMOLED version, which is a lot more like an Apple or a Samsung watch. That's not all. All good things in life don't come free, and that's something about this that needs to be mentioned. It is quite expensive. I mean, on the box, as it ships, it says 82,990 rupees. Now, 83,000 rupees is not some small price. It's quite expensive, but it's built with that rugged quality. Anything over 50 to 60,000 rupees seems like it is very expensive. But all in all, this, in terms of pure innovation, if price didn't matter, and of course it does, this has impressed us on Tech Today. Okay, now all this health and fitness talk and smartwatches has basically made me very hungry. And I always count my macros and I follow a diet, but every now and then I want a cheat meal. Now, my cousins in Delhi tell me that Delhi has the best street food, but I personally love the street food here in Mumbai. If I were to have a cheat meal, should it be bhel puri here in Mumbai or parathas in Delhi?
Hey Ayush, now listen, I don't know about Mumbai, but Delhi is famous for its street food. Now, Murthal is a location, it's about 100 kilometers from Delhi NCR, and it is famous for its parathas, and Delhiites love their parathas, and you know, it's a very done thing to go to Murthal over the weekend, have some parathas and get back. Today I'm going to do that whole route with this electric vehicle. This is a Tata Tigor EV with Ziptron technology, and I want to know if this car can get me to Murthal and get me back on a single charge. Right now, I've charged it fully, 100%. It's showing me a range of about 230 kilometers, and one way to Murthal is 93 kilometers. So let's see. I am cutting it a bit fine, but I want to know if what Tata claims is actually true or not. So we're currently done with about 10% of battery. That's what we've exhausted so far. And the car is showing us a range of about 209 kilometers. We've traveled about 23.2 kilometers and the range has come down by approximately 21 kilometers. So we're pretty much at par with what the car is claiming. We're on the highway right now and the speed limit here for cars is 100 kilometers per hour, but we are currently at 63 kilometers per hour. That's the speed I'm maintaining. So they claim that the car can be charged from 0 to 80% in 65 minutes. So there is a Tata Power Easy app on which you can find a lot of these charging stations around your location. I went to 2 charging locations which were not functional, which were there on the app. That was the first issue I faced. Finally, I found another charging station in a petrol pump. We went and we started charging the car. Now, from 0 to 80% claim is 65 minutes. But we were at about 32-33% battery and I had to charge it to 100%. Initially, the estimated time was 54 minutes, but in an actual scenario, we took about 1 hour 30 minutes to get to 100%. So as I just told you, we charged our car from 33% to 100%. So essentially what we filled into the car was about 16.786 kilowatt hours of power. That cost us about 302 rupees, and there was about 55-56 rupees of tax on top of that. So if you do the maths, that's approximately 18 rupees per unit of battery power, tax separate. Yes, you get a power charging cord along with the vehicle, but that doesn't mean that you can just go and plug it anywhere in any 15 ampere power socket and it'll start charging the car. No, it's not that simple. If there is no earthing in that socket, the car will not take any charge. So we've been seeing cars overtake us every few seconds ever since we've been on the highway. The reason is not that they are going fast, it's because I'm going slow. The reason for that is I'm trying to get the maximum out of the battery, the range that this battery is going to offer us. So I'm doing three things for that. Number one, I'm retaining the speed at about 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. Secondly, I've kept the air conditioning on auto mode at 24 degrees Celsius. I'm not touching the fan speed and I'm not touching the temperature after that. And thirdly, I am not throttling the car. So here we are in Murthal. It took us almost twice the amount of time it would have taken us had we been driving a petrol or a diesel car at a normal speed. We were driving slower, so it took longer. But the electric experience has been fairly smooth. There is a lot of tech in the car which I want to focus on before we head back towards Delhi. So this is the screen behind the steering wheel, which pretty much gives you all the information that you need while you're driving. Currently we're in neutral, so you see the N over here, that's the driving speed. At the center, since we're parked, it's 0. And on the bottom right, I need you to notice what you see, 106, and then you see watt hour by kilometer. This is essentially telling you how much energy the car is using per kilometer traveled. So when we were on our way to Murthal, we were maintaining our speed at 50 to 60 and we kept the AC at about 24 degrees on auto mode, and I was not throttling the car. Now I'm going to change that. I'm going to flip all these three rules and I want to see what effect it has on the range. Currently we have 152 kilometers range which is left, and I have another 90 kilometers to go and 55% battery. Okay, so we're going to change the speed now. Currently we have 147 kilometers of range left. Now we increase the speed. We'll cross 80 and the car is going to give us a beep. There you go. Our plan was to do UP, Delhi, Haryana, Delhi, UP in a single charge. At 100% we found the range to be somewhere between 238 kilometers, but we did this entire route with 42 kilometers to spare. So I am impressed with that. At about 13.5 lakhs, which is its on-road price, I think it's a good car to start with for your electric experience. But I have to tell you this is not a car which is meant for the highway. It is good for the city where your speed is limited to 50 and 70 and you're constantly braking. But when you are on the highway, when you can drive at about 100 or 120, it is very difficult to drive at 55 because you want to maintain your range and you don't want to run out of battery on the middle of the highway. So stick to the city, you can go electric with the Tata Tigor.
India's most affordable EV across 3 states. Solar charging smartwatches. I told you, if you blink, you shall miss it. But I'll give you some time to gather your forces, gather your supplies, get some refreshments, because we'll be back with an action-packed show after this commercial break. Welcome back to Tech Today, guys. I'm your host, Ayush Elavadi, and we always promise you exclusive unboxings and reviews. And one such first look and a mini review that we want to get you after 10 episodes of Tech Today have been completed is the first such Realme product on the show, the Realme 9 Pro Plus. It's here, so let's unbox it. As soon as you look at this phone, I'm going to talk about the external bit, but what's impressed me about it at first sight is the fact that it's coming with Android 12 out of the box. But there's a catch. There's a lot of stuff that comes with the phone, and that sort of is a bummer, especially when I'm a fan of stock Android, or if you're using iOS, you're not used to so many apps out there. The good news though, it's not like a Samsung phone where you have apps which you cannot delete. So if you don't like the bloatware or all the unnecessary apps that it's come with, just go like that, click on this app and hit uninstall, And just like that, a snappy Android phone. How is it snappy? That's because of the processor. Alright, this comes with the MediaTek Dimensity 920 5G processor, which we're seeing on a lot of phones in this mid-range nowadays, and it's quite snappy and it does the job, which also means it might be decent for gaming and for imaging, and there's a lot of things when it comes to imaging on this phone. But it also comes with dual stereo speakers, Dolby Atmos, and frankly, we were quite impressed with the sound on the phone. Let's talk about the camera, because that is something that makes this phone kind of interesting at this price point in the mid-range. The phone comes with a 50 megapixel primary camera, 119 degree super wide camera, a 4 centimeter macro camera if you're into macro shots, and of course it comes with OIS plus EIS. Another feature on this phone, and a lot of these types of phones that I really like, is the fact that it comes with a dual camera mode. So when I actually click on that mode, this dual view mode is not a gimmick. It's quite an interesting feature, and a lot of Chinese manufacturers are now introducing this in their phones. You can also zoom in to the subject if you want, and you can come back out. So it's quite a cool thing for vlogging, and I hope that iPhones finally introduce this as a standard feature on their camera. Also, when you're holding it, it's really light, and I think that's good because I'm quite used to these Pro Max like phones which are very, very heavy, and sometimes as a secondary phone when I'm using an Android device, I can't always use a Galaxy Fold or one of the bigger, clunkier phones. I prefer these lighter ones. I've been using the Samsung S21 FE, and very soon I'm sure there's going to be a new iteration to that which I'm going to enjoy. But these phones at around 180-82 grams, well, they seem about right to hold and to use as a secondary device as well. Not only is this phone really light, it's also quite slim. And the only concern is that it's got this glossy glass back. And I've had some of these phones in the past, even the OnePlus phones which used to have these, and sometimes they cannot escape a fall. And I think that might be concerning, but for now it looks sturdy. The good thing about Chinese manufacturers is that, well, they give you these covers out of the box. And I know it's a small thing, but as soon as you get a phone and you spend some money on it, this is very reassuring to have these covers until you invest in a bigger one or a heavier one. It also comes with the scratch guard that's already installed by the company when it comes out of the box in the retail box. And this, of course, comes with the charger and the adapter. And this is no ordinary one. Of course, this is what Realme calls Super Dart charging. What that essentially means, this comes with Super Dart 60 watts and Dart 30 watts, of course. That's standard charging. But what the company is saying is 0 to 100% charging in 44 minutes. And that's decent for a phone at this price range. If they're giving you reverse charging because of this glass back, that is also a feature that I'm very interested in. But there are small knickknacks and small things that they've done in terms of innovation, which is why perhaps Realme is really taking long strides and capturing a big pie out of the Indian smartphone market. For one, this is not just an in-display fingerprint scanner. This, my friends, is also, and I know Samsung did this a while ago and then they junked the idea, but I find it fascinating. This is also a heart rate sensor. I'll tell you how it works. You actually click on the heart rate measurement tool, and then you have to gently place your finger on the fingerprint sensor. And what I'm going to do at the same time is, we have, of course, the Garmin watch over here. So what we should do is, let's check what my heart rate is here, and it's quite high at this point. And I press this button for 10 seconds and get your heart rate. And there you go. Both devices are giving us nearly the same heart rate measurement. So I think this is ingenious because this is almost the same technology of the sensors which is on your smartwatches or your fitness trackers under 4,000-5,000 rupees as well. So why can't we do it this way as well and make one device the holistic health and fitness device for you? Maybe if you don't own a smartwatch. Now, so this vibrant 90 Hz 6.4 inch AMOLED display, it comes with 5G, but these are all small things that are happening in the segment anyways. Where's the innovation that comes in? One was that heart rate sensor. Full marks to you, Realme, for that. And the second thing, that a phone at this price point in the sub 25,000 rupee category, hopefully, comes with Android 12 out of the box. That is a game changer for me. I'll tell you small things that really work for it. Now, all Android 12 phones have to match the theme in terms of icons with the particular wallpaper or theme that you select. What I mean by that is, if you actually click on this phone, go on the wallpaper and select maybe a blue colored wallpaper like this one. Then you apply it, and you apply it to obviously the home and lock screens. And based on Android 12 and Google's new Material U design language, everything on this phone will take a similar color scheme. If I change this to a green, I could choose from a green color palette. I mean, we do it on our sets all the time. If you can do it on your phone, it'll liven things up and keep them lively for a longer time. So full marks again to Realme for that. Now, to become the #2 smartphone brand in India in a matter of years, a couple of years, such a cluttered market at that too, they have to have done something right, and all of us at Tech Today have been very curious about Realme, and I've just been trying to analyze the business case of this phone and Realme and their other product lineup, and how have they done this? This has been in the past couple of years during a pandemic. This has obviously been amidst a chip shortage. They've managed production, their partnerships, software, largely with Android 12 now, and of course with their hardware as well, giving you some sort of innovation at every price point. And I think that's what Realme's done right. And we at Tech Today will be watching very, very keenly with bated breath at what Realme does next. Headphones, wireless speakers, AirPods, truly wireless earbuds, this whole segment is getting really confusing, and brands seem to be missing the bus just calling it innovation. Have a look.
Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of working from home. Or not. At least for the last 2 years, most of us have been working from home, and work, and in some cases also our personal life, has moved away from phones and in-person to Zoom calls, Google Meet calls, Teams calls, WebEx calls, even WhatsApp video calls and FaceTime. We've seen people more on our screens and heard them on our headphones than we've seen them face to face. While all of this is absolutely excellent for introverts, well, you don't have to socialize unless you really want to, it's such a pain in the ear. Headphones have become our best friends over this time. But no matter how lightweight they are or how comfortable they might feel in your ear, wearing them all day is absolutely exhausting and quite painful. Now, Sony has a solution to this, and it's called the SRS NB10. Sony's SRS NB10 is a neckband speaker, and it does exactly what the name suggests. It's a speaker that hangs around your neck. Now, this has been designed specifically to be used at home or smaller office places, and it's meant for those conference calls. The SRS NB10 comes with a mic mute button, volume rockers, and another button to pause and play whatever you're listening to. The company promises 20 hours of playback on a single charge, like a full charge, and it also has some fast charging tech in it, so with 10 minutes of charge, you can use the speaker for 1 hour. The Sony SRS NB10 is IPX4 rated for water resistance, which means that it can withstand splashes. We do not recommend you wear it out in the rain or to the gym. It's just not going to work.
The Sony NB10 features precise voice pickup technology, which comprises of 2 high-quality directional mics along with an advanced audio signal processing.
In very simple words, the Sony SRS NB10 is a lightweight Bluetooth speaker that you can keep on yourself hands-free. You can use it for calls, you can use it to listen to music, you can also connect it to your TV with Bluetooth to listen to whatever you're watching on that without disturbing other people. It's not very loud, but it's loud enough for the person wearing it. And that is the point. I'm getting a call. Wait.
Producer, WhatsApp audio.
Hey Ashish, what's up?
All fine. How are you?
I'm great Ashish, but I will really have to call you back. I'm in the middle of a shoot, okay? I'll call you back. As you just saw, though the speaker has been built for office calls and conference calls, it doesn't make too much of sense, especially if the calls are meant to contain sensitive information. The speaker is loud enough for anybody around you to be able to hear both sides of the conversation. If you're okay with it, sure, this will work for you. But not if you want any privacy. We've been using the Sony SRS NB10 for a bit, and there are certain use cases that I do see for it. For example, when it comes to listening to music or watching TV. I can listen to music without having to use my HomePods or any other bigger speaker I have at home, and without raising the volume on my TV too much. A neckband speaker like this essentially keeps the volume right over here, and it reaches just your ears without disturbing too many people around you. And now that we're spending so much of time at home around everybody else who's there, something like this actually makes sense. But that's only one situation. If you really want to bring it down to the deciding factor, the Sony SRS NB10 only makes sense because it gives your ear that well-deserved break from headphones and earphones and earbuds, which we are so tired of by now. It also allows me a little me time to listen to music or watch TV without really disturbing others. But then, is that really the point? Because when you're watching TV or listening to music, you want the volumes to be high enough for it to entirely surround you. Well, I'm going to go give Ayush a call. He really wanted to know about these speakers, but guess what? I'm not going to be using these.
See, I told you it's going to be an action-packed show, and if you've liked the show or something about the show that you haven't liked as well, then you must write into us on our social media handles. You can even reach out to me, drop me a direct message and ask all your tech queries and maybe get featured on our next episode. Until next week, adios.